What's going on, my broskies? My name is Totsuki, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And in today's video, I'm going to show you guys just a few clips that I've recorded thus far whilst using Crossguild, the new Buggy, Shanks, and Crocodile Legend. This character has been a bunch of fun to use, and when this character initially came out, I was a little concerned that this character was going to be very difficult to use, but after using him in a couple of key arena content, I found this character actually really easy to use, and the cool thing about him is that he can run in like two different modes. You can run him as a slasher unit, or you could run him as like a mono-driven team, or you could obviously run the hybrid scenario. But it's really cool that you can hybrid this character up in a lot of different ways, and the flexibility of his special, as it does so many different things depending on what special you have activated, whether it be the first, the second, or the third activation. You can use him in a multitude of different scenarios to get around a lot of things, but he's not a perfect unit, so we're going to go through all of that right now. So let's go ahead and start things off with the captain. The captain's pretty solid. It does have a bit of cooldown reduction, it does have a health boost, it's got a decent attack multiplier of 5.5. I mean, that's very, very good, pretty stock standard though, but then a 6 times attack boost if the character is 40 cost or lower, and then it also gives themselves the 6 times attack boost. So, as I said, like, multipliers are pretty stock standard, pretty good stuff. Tandem slots are going to be matching as a captain, and then it also will reduce damage taken by 20%. So that's really, really nice to have. Just a bit of extra damage reduction on top of that health boost. And then it says that anytime you're inflicted with despair, either by your own effects or by the opponent, it removes the effects of despair and instead reduces the cooldowns of your captains by 2 turns. So that's a really cool effect that they have. They're just basically immune to despair, which is always, always, always a good thing to have. Again, another good reason why you may want to hybrid this character up with something else that potentially has another key utility piece of effect, so you can always remove despair with Crossguild and then remove some other debuff or debuffs with another captain. When you use them as a captain, you'll get access to the EX Super, and the EX Super I was a little concerned about like how difficult it was going to be to activate. However, I can report back by saying that this is actually not that bad of a condition. So you either have 2 of the listed characters, which is pretty bad in Mr. 3, Moji, Richie, Kabaji, Alvida, Dazbones, Zoro, Perona, or Shanks. Not a great list of characters there. But the thing is that there is another condition where if you defeat an enemy with the set target status, which their special can apply, you can get their EX Super. And the way that this character is built, not all the time are you using like their first special activation as like your burst turn. So you can preemptively use their special on that first activation, kill something with the set target status, you get given your EX Super, which you can then abuse to get their special back. So there's really cool ways you can abuse this, but the special itself, as we said, it does give you your special back of -2 turns of cooldown, works well with their special, and then also it will boost the attack of the next final tap character by 20% that is slasher or driven. We've seen this happen recently. I'm not really the biggest fan of these types of buffs, I just don't think they're that great. This could have good synergy with characters in the future, but as of right now, I don't think it's amazing. But then it also gives a 15% resistance down for driven slasher, and of course this character being both driven and slasher means that you can get a lot of damage just additional because of the EX Super itself. So the cooldown reduction is the key thing there. That's the best part of it, as it synergizes well with the special, and then also the resistance down is a really nice key piece of effect. But it also gives superclass to both slasher and driven, so this character gets a huge buff because of it. So the captain and the EX Super actually work pretty well so far, and then we have a look at what the special actually does, which is the most interesting component of this character overall. So the first time you launch the special, you get the 0 effect, which says that it applies the set target status to the opponent. So this basically means that you get a 2 times damage increase against the enemy that is inflicted with it, so long as the character attacking is either slasher or driven, which is fantastic. It's basically increased damage taken, but like V2. It's like a V2 version of increased damage taken. It's really good, actually. So that's nice. You just get bonus damage, and it goes through full immunity, which is even better, and that lasts for 3 turns. And then it also reduces his own cooldown by 13 turns. Now, naturally, he starts at 16. With expansion, he goes to 15. If you get this character, this is one of the best characters to actually limit break expand, due to the fact that having that -1 cooldown does make a difference, because it means you can actually launch his special, use the EX Super in the same turn to get the special back, and launch his special twice in the same turn. If you don't have him Limit Break expanded, you can't use him twice in the same turn without help from another effect, which I think is kind of annoying, but it's just the way that this character is built. So I do think if you have him, Limit Break expanding him is not a terrible idea. But moving forward from that, the first activation doesn't do a whole lot, but then you move on to the second activation and it does start to get a lot better. Removing blue shield and damage threshold on the enemy by 6 turns, doing 1,000,000 fixed damage, ignoring everything, including normal attacks only. Driven and Slashes receiving a 2.75 orb boost for 2 turns, and then also reducing his own cooldown by 13 turns once again. So as we said, you can launch that special, then use the EX Super to use the third activation in the same turn. And then when you use that third activation, it reduces 6 turns of Despair, which is kind of a weird thing because his Captain ability already resists Despair. But I do suppose you could use it, you know, when you're not the Captain, and you can still remove Despair, which I guess is not a bad thing. And then it also gives a 3.0 chain boundary for 3 turns, and a minus 20% driven and slasher resistance for 1 turn. It does state there that when you use the third special, it resets the counter of the special. So it means that if you use the special for a 4th time, it will reset back to set target status. But this character, he does a lot of different things, and you can kind of pick and choose where you want to activate the specials. Like you could use the first one preemptively, get the set target status, get your EX Super. If you know the final boss stage has threshold or defense or has a bunch of mobs, you can use that second special on the last stage to do some wave clearing, get an orb boost. A really, really funky, really weird design character, but I kind of dig it too. It's a very, very unique playstyle. And to top it all off, this character also has Rush Sugo Special, and the Rush Sugo Special is pretty strong. There's not a lot of details in this graphic you're seeing right here, but it's a pretty strong effect as you can get up to a 1.9 attack boost at level 5 to Driven and Slasher, which is fantastic considering this Rush Sugo Special wants you to launch it as the first tap of your chain. The only issue with this character's Rush Sugo Special that I personally have is the condition requiring 2 of the listed characters, Mr. 3, Moji, Richie, Kabaji, Alvida, Daz Bones, Roronorazoro, Perona, and Shanks. So the condition is pretty harsh because in order to build a full team with 2 of those listed characters on it, with this guy as your captain, probably. I mean, obviously you could run something else with potentially Cross Guild as a sub. Maybe you could do something like that. But if you are able to get this to activate, it is so much additional damage. And if you think about what this character's special is already doing, if you potentially had like set target status for the 2 times increased damage, you could have the orb boost, you can have the chain boundary, all these resistance down effects that are occurring here, lots of damage increasing effects happening. This character is very, very strong, and I can't wait to use him even more in the future. But that's my current breakdown of him. I think he's really strong. I think he's got some good synergies with some good characters in the game, and he's going to be a really nice character to have in the future. But of course, he is anniversary exclusive, so he's not going to be around too often. So you do have to be careful about where you pick and choose to pull on Anniversary Sugo Fest. But that will wrap it up from me. Thank you so much for watching. Leave your thoughts and opinions about Cross Guild down below in the comment section. Hope you guys enjoyed this one though, and if you did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.